Here's where it gets a bit odd and a bit suspicious, because the deal that they presented, those original 20 points, I said so, I believe, on your show as well, was indeed a good deal for Israel. Great
Yeah.
for Gazans, gets rid of Hamas, a pathway to a much more prosperous future, de radicalizes it, and it meets most of Israeli demands for security and a sustainable path for coexistence without the presence of extremists. But it was very, very vague when it came to anything about Palestinian statehood, and therefore Israeli ministers were probably they felt confident enough to actually go ahead and vote for it. What we have today is a different situation, and I think it's cause for concern in Israel. But I think we have to zoom out for a second and take a good hard look at the various real options here available on the table. One option is, and the Israeli chief of staff, a man whom I trust very much and respect, Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, he said today he was in the Gaza division, and the purpose of his visit there was basically to signal to Israelis, but also to Gazans and to Americans. And his message was, we are preparing to complete the task in military ways. So if this doesn't go forward the way that the world and the US and Israel wants, peacefully and by agreement, then the other option is very much on the table. If we will
And
need
that
to,
task, Jonathan, that task is to completely eradicate Hamas.
it is to dismantle Hamas the good old-fashioned way that you defeat an enemy by killing them and forcing them to surrender and leaving them with no options but to come out with the white flag. Just like the Allies did in the Second World War, good old-fashioned fighting that ends with one side defeated, one side victorious, and with no ambiguity in the middle as to who is going to chart the path forward. That's usually how wars are supposed to end, regardless of who starts it. But that option is still on the table. A second option is basically Trump's plan, which has regional buy-in, but the bad part of it is that it seems as if the roads are all leading to Palestinian statehood. That, I think, is a strategic threat to Israel and something that a very large part of the Israeli electorate, left, right, and center, will not agree to. And the third option, which probably is worse or at least equally bad, is the Muslim Brotherhood, represented on the ground by money from Qatar and troops and political muscle from Turkey. And so none of these three options are really good.